Hello, my name is Jasmine, and the article that I read is called Narcissistic Leaders, The Incredible Pros and the Inevitable Cons, and it was written by a man named Michael Maccabee, who is an anthropologist and a psychoanalyst. It was first published in the year 2000 at a very transformational time in the business world. It was a time when we began to see an emergence of very successful CEOs, and in short, Maccabee decided to take a very close look at what it is specifically that makes these CEOs so successful and what it is about their personalities that draws people in. He established that typically the most successful leaders are the ones who represent a very narcissistic personality. And that may sound surprising to a lot of you because if you're like me, then when you hear the word narcissist, you probably have a negative connotation attached to it. And that's because there are realistically some negative things that come from being a narcissist. However, they're not all negative. Many of the qualities that narcissists have are what make them such magnetic and captivating leaders. The article explores what it is about the narcissist that makes him such a successful leader, as well as the dangers that come from being a narcissist that may ultimately lead to his downfall. In short, some of the greatest benefits of being a narcissist are that they have a very specific vision and an ability to attract and inspire followers, and they help to shape the future. Some of the drawbacks to being a narcissist are that they are typically very emotionally isolated and highly distrustful. They tend to be poor listeners and they lack a lot of empathy. Oftentimes, perceived threats from criticism can trigger rage in a narcissist. I'll come back to these in a little while and review the benefits and drawbacks in greater detail, but that gives you a general idea to start off the presentation. The greatest challenge for a narcissist is to take advantage of their strengths while tempering their weaknesses, and to ensure that these leaders do not self-destruct, because oftentimes their greatest demise is their own self-destruction. In the article, it talks about a situation where an executive at Oracle described his narcissist CEO, Larry Ellison, by saying that the difference between God and Larry is that God does not think he is Larry. Narcissists tend to see themselves in a very godly way, and they kind of think that they're superior to everyone else. The article spends a significant amount of time discussing the differences between productive and unproductive narcissism, because there's a huge difference between those two. And he lists some examples of people who are considered to be productive narcissists, such as George Soros and Jack Welch, and he explains why they are productive narcissists. He says it's because they're strategists who can see the big picture and find meaning in changing the world and leaving behind a legacy. And then some examples of productive narcissism are people who are risk takers and get the job done, individuals that have an audacity for transition, and charmers who can convert masses with their rhetoric. When can it turn dangerous? When a narcissist becomes an unrealistic dreamer, which oftentimes occurs, that's when it becomes dangerous. When they they get a vision in their head that is unattainable, which happens a lot for the narcissist. Maccabee spends some time distinguishing Freud's 3 personality types, and I think he does this specifically because he wants to distinguish the narcissist from the other personalities to show what it really is about the narcissist that makes him such a successful leader. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in detail talking about that, but if you go to my PowerPoint, I list the 3 personalities, which are erotic, obsessives, and of course the narcissist, and it talks about what it is about the narcissist that sets him aside from those other 2 personality types. Basically, a narcissist, they go above and beyond their expertise. They want to be admired. They don't care about being loved. An obsessive personality, or an erotic personality, their sole purpose is to be loved and to love. A narcissist, they just want to be admired. They have an ability to be aggressive with their goals, to pursue their goals. They have distinct and powerful visions for the future and a keen ability to attract followers. This brings me back to what I was discussing earlier about the specifics of the strengths and weaknesses of a narcissist. I'm first going to talk about the topic of having a vision in leadership. Many great leaders have an ability to see visions for the future. And productive narcissists understand this very well due to their ability to always look at the bigger picture. Instead of extrapolating to figure out the future, they take the initiative to actually go out there, create it, and turn their vision into a reality. And obviously, an imperative aspect to leadership is being able to attract followers, and narcissists really excel in this aspect of leadership. They are very gifted in their ability to reach out to people through language. The saying "words move mountains" matches really well with a narcissist because they understand the underlying power of words and the capacity that words have to make a difference and reach out to people. Narcissists are particularly talented at using their words through speeches and such to inspire and motivate people. And it's one of the things that makes their personalities so magnetic. And because of their very charismatic nature, they know how to get people excited with their vision through their words, which is one of the main reasons they're so gifted at attracting followers. So although their charisma really helps them in a lot of situations, it can also be a significant downfall because it creates both closeness and isolation at the same time. So now I'm going to talk about more specifically some of the weaknesses that Maccabee discusses. Their charisma, because of the attention it creates, can lead them to feel very self-assured, and the more self-assured the narcissist becomes, the more invincible he or she will start to feel. And this, in turn, this is not a good thing for the narcissist. This can make them feel unable or unwilling to listen to advice and feedback, and instead of trying to get people to listen to him, he'll start to ignore them, which creates even further isolation. They're sensitive to criticism, they tend to be poor listeners, and they tend to lack a lot of empathy. They also have a distaste for mentoring. They don't like or credit their mentors unless it is someone they feel they can control. A mentor to a narcissist makes them feel as if they are surrendering their power, and that's just something a narcissist can't handle. And at the very end of the article, Maccabee talks about the 3 basic ways that can help a narcissist avoid the trap of allowing their weaknesses to overpower their strengths as leaders. And one of those things he says is finding a trusted sidekick. Narcissists are able usually to develop a really close relationship with one person, but this has to be a very specific kind of person since narcissists feel threatened so easily and are unable to take advice from pretty much anyone. However, if the narcissist discovers a person that seems like an extension of himself, then that relationship might be very useful for the narcissist because it can help to keep him grounded. I personally found this article to be really fascinating because I've always considered narcissism as just a purely negative thing. Before reading this article, I never knew there was anything positive associated with a narcissist. And now I see it totally differently. I think that a lot of our world's greatest leaders are probably very narcissistic. But those successful leaders are the ones that are able to utilize their strengths without tempering their weaknesses. So I hope that you enjoyed the article as much as I did. Thank you.